Hi, and welcome to another Masterspec Update. If you aren't aware, we've recently updated Update Manager to improve functionality. So let's take you through some of that improved functionality. So you'll note that with Update Manager at the start of each month, you'll see your warnings appearing on the left-hand panel telling you that Masterspec has updated that particular work section last month. Now, you might want to do those at the end of the project or closer to rather than a monthly basis. That would be my suggestion. But when you do it, you'll find some new functionality. So let's open a work section that needs updating. And you'll find the Update Manager in its usual position in the top right here. And then if you click into it, you'll get a very similar look and feel to how you used to have the old Update Manager, but now with improved functionality. Let's go through some of that. On the left-hand side panel, you'll find the quick view, which is basically a précis of the work section from start to finish. You'll see the wee box here is actually showing you what you're looking at. And if you look at the highlights down here, you'll see what they are, whether that's a new inserted section, if it's identical, in other words, needs no update, or an update has occurred. The navigation tool allows you to select on any of those and go directly to them. You'll notice the box is now moved and we can see the information inside this box. So that's the bottom of the work section. That's the top of the work section. Again, click and go to it. Some of the improvements now in the filter situation here allows you to narrow the filter and just view those things. So if you don't want to see deleted, inserted, or identical, and just see what's updated, you'll notice this whole box now has changed to the update color. We can see those clauses only, the ones that have been updated. Similarly, you can change this view around to whatever you want to do. However, I would recommend that you leave all the filters on while you're editing, because this will give you context as to what you're doing and why you're doing it. Let's look at some of those other improvements. Now, obviously with the preview button in the corner, you can preview what the change would look like without making it in effect. So the preview button, again, sits on all of the sections or all of the clauses where you have updates. You can toggle it between what it could look like and what it currently looks like. But the improved functionality is in editing inside the clauses itself. So obviously, if I wanted to take this update here, decking and substrate, if I push the overwrite button, it would remove my content that I had previously put in there. Now, if I want to, I can use the edit function and then import the content that I want, or just type over it. Here, I'll just copy and paste this using the control copy function, select in here, control V, and paste in the content that I want. Change the date here because I've now updated it to the new date. And I have the new update plus my updates that I've actually wanted in here without actually having to go back out of the update manager to affect that. All I have to do is save those changes. And those changes are now saved. And over here, you'll note that it has actually taken account of that and tells you what the differences are back here as well in the section. You can continue to edit and update in the same session if you want to. There's also some improvement in tables. Now let's go down to a table and have a look. Believe it or not, when you're looking at the situation, behind here is actually a table which formats it and creates this boundaries or tabulation between it. So that's actually a table. It just hasn't got the table format on to actually show you the lines behind it. And this can often be frustrating to navigate. So one of the things that is actually you can actually do is navigate inside that table a hell of a lot better than you could before. So if I turn it on, you can actually now see the table lit up. And if I want to, there's some quick keys in here where I can add rows or delete rows, and then you can do the same with the columns left. So it's nice and quick for you to be able to change content in here without having to do it manually. So there's some nice tool sets in here for you to deal with. You can also add a column header. So the column header just bolds the top line of this particular column, or if you're doing rows, it can actually do the row as well, header row. So you can see here, I can bold that row and make it almost like a title lead. And then I can remove it if I want to. Here's a tip and trick for you. If you're looking to add a table and you want to edit the content. Maybe you wanted to add a few more lines in here, and maybe it's more aligned to what's in the guidance notes than you previously had. Rather than trying to select and insert each individual row and then updating the content, maybe quicker to actually copy and paste or drag and drop this guidance note. So let's try that. You need to put a space in behind here. So that little function there allows you to put a space in here, which allows you to write more text. You highlight the guidance note and it's full, release it, and then pick it up and drag it and drop it. It will drop a new table in. We'll also do the same from here. So if you look at the corresponding context over here in the right-hand panel of the Update Manager, same thing. We can drag and drop the page in here. You'll note the alignment's slightly out from what we used to have. Extra functionality now allows us to drag and drop that alignment to wherever we want within here, and it should stick. So we can get things looking a little better to the eye by using the drag and getting the columns to line up a little better than we could before. Okay, so to get rid of the tables, you simply click the table and delete. Click the table and delete, and you'll remove that content as required. In this case here, let's go and edit this clause. We want to get rid of this content because we mentioned it twice here. Screw fixing stainless steel, screw fixing stainless steel. So again, it's a nice easy case of delete the row. Content is now up to date, and we save the change. And the change is now being reflected here, and we've got our content as correct. So one more change that you might also want to take note of, along the top of when you've finished your update, there are two buttons to go back to the specification itself. There's a save the changes and there's a close the changes. We often asked what's the difference and why did we do it? We did it because a lot of people asked us that they want to save the changes, but they do want to remove the update note at the same time. So in other words, you don't have to save the change, open the work section and mark it as complete to remove the change. To do that, this button here, save the changes and remove the update warning. Conversely, sometimes you want to make some changes to it, but not remove the update warning. In other words, reminding you to go back sometime in that month and have a look. It's that button there. So let's do that. I'm going to save and close, or I'm going to close the change here. I'm going to close the Update Manager. And when I've closed the Update Manager, you will see that the warning is still on. If I open the Update Manager again, you'll notice it's retained the changes that I put in previously. But this time, if I save the changes and remove the update warning, it'll do exactly that, saving me some clicks through the process of my Update Manager system. So now it's removed the warning and it's marked as complete. Hope you enjoyed this update session. If you've got any comments, come back to us. Thanks again from Masterspec.